Hello, hello, it's me again, the cleric. And oh boy, I really didn't expect this, but we get a whole bunch of unlimited buffs this time around. But let's get the elephant out of the room first. Oh boy! It's so fun that this whole mini expansion is full of Resurgent cards. Thank you very much, CYGAMES. You shouldn't have. Anyway, yeah, I'm salty. So, for 20, funny number. Anyways, we are getting a whole lot of buffs right now, huh? I think I'm gonna go for least to most impactful right now, so... First thing first, I think we should go for the sword buffs because the mouse Warcraft in the format anyways. So, they are some pretty good changes, all things considered. Forensic Core Master, the effect now triggers on when it's summoned into the field instead of when it's played. Pretty good. Now you aren't choosing between keeping the card or tossing it away in a mulligan just in case you wanted the effect. It can become pretty annoying for some decks, and Forensic Core Master was already a trio in Rally Sword decks. Is this the first time we see a card being buffed twice in a row? That's crazy, man. It does help with the removal for the deck, but at the same time, where's the Wincon? Your Wincon is still stalled into like Genelise, and that's so bad. But then again, also for that, we have the buff to Luminaria Omega. From 7 to 6 play points, retains the same stat line, pretty good. The Crystallize for it is actually pretty crazy, huh? Just because besides the AoE silence, you also get removal and draw a card. Cards with Luminaria Omega, that's really good, man. Like, sure, the damage is reduced to 3, but at the same time, that's not really the reason you are gonna play Luminaria Omega. 100% you are just gonna play it for the Crystallize. That's the whole card now. The body is just a bonus. This may allow for Sword to have a better consistent slower deck, but at the same time, lacking a Wincon is one of the biggest problems about Rally Sword that it has. And also because Sword as a whole is just way too fair most of the times. Whatever. Sword is still pretty cope, but at least not as bad as before. So we are getting also into the Dragon buffs. Byron into a 1/1/1, Rey into a 2/2/2, Dragoneer into a 1/1/2, and the buff to attack and defense for Leviathan Dragon. Honestly, those are some pretty good tempo buffs, since now on turn 3 you can play Byron into Reggie without losing tempo, and because most of the time just dropping the Reggie as a 2/2 was already a tempo loss, like you were just getting behind, and now you can do that on Corp. But at the same time, how many cards do allow you to proc the Reggie on Corp? Like only Dragoneer and Byron, I guess, because there really isn't that many cards that give you buffs from turn 1 onwards. Even worse if they don't manage to survive, so it's still gonna be really hard for the Reggie to proc. It is gonna be way more high roll talk, but at the same time, getting that on Corp, on tempo ramp is pretty good. And also because we are getting better payoffs. Honestly, the buffs are good, and also pretty funny that now we can do Byron into Iron Scale Serpent on turn 4, so we get a full board of Lizards, but that is still pretty not that great but that time, because by turn 4 all the AoEs are online and boards don't really matter because things are gonna die left and right. But honestly, there are still two more cards I would have really liked to have seen buff. Like the first one, Twin Drake Guide, because right now Armed manages to get a really big amount of 1-drops, and the deck does lack a good amount of draw. The ones they have available aren't that great, so this will really help with that problem. But at the same time, maybe that will be a little bit too much, but like, who cares? This is unlimited, boards don't really matter that much. And honestly, the second buff I would have wanted to see is to Lance Lizard. Like, sure, it was good in rotation when it was available, but in unlimited 3 play points for a 3/2 arm is just way too expensive, dude. Like, I would have liked for Lance Lizard to be a 2/2/1 or even a 1/1/1, man, just to have more consistency for the arm game plan, so you can always get your Leviathan on Corp, and even more so right now because of the Reggie buffs and stuff like that. But sadly, it wasn't meant to be, at least this time around. But it's still pretty base that someone wanted to play armed in unlimited, honestly. Also, we get the buffs to Leviathan Dragon attack and defense form. The attack form is the least impactful. Like, sure, it now can deal with atomy boards, but like, that's it. Attack form is still the most scope of all the forms. So the buff to defense form is really good, honestly. Like, the fact that it now can't be destroyed by effects is honestly pretty huge, but not as broken as most people are saying. Then, while it does help versus the current tier 1s, they're all the blood decks and Boreal Rite, and also honestly, not just Boreal Rite, also Shadow in general, because they do indeed have removal on a stick with Atomy, but then again, it is like less impactful in that deck since they can just evo the Atom and just destroy Leviathan Dragon. The biggest problem with that is that a lot of the other tier 2 decks don't really care at all about the change. Heal doesn't care because they can just banish the Leviathan Dragon. Hosumi doesn't care because one, they go off before the Dragon can do anything, and if they don't, they will just evo the Hosumi to hit you in the face to transform the Leviathan. And if it becomes too much of an issue, people are just gonna start taking Inverted Wings. The Chief already plays that, even though the deck isn't that popular at the moment. And it's even worse because if they just transform or banish your stuff, you aren't gonna be able to get repeated with Galan Dragon Youth. But it's still pretty exciting to see Armed Dragon getting buff. I'm definitely gonna play the deck just because I have always shield for Aggro Dragon in Unlimited. It's a pretty fun deck, honestly. But honestly, the biggest buff in the whole patch is the buff to Glistering Angel. The card was already pretty good, but now, if a deck can afford to run Glistering are 100% gonna play here because Invoke is a mechanic that a lot of decks really use, especially the top tiers, Sans Dirt. Honestly, there are some decks that can abuse it more than others, like Atomy can use it because it's a 1-1 and they can just process it. Same with Boreal Rite. Thor is also a good candidate because it's a 1-1, but the biggest one and the one I'm the most scared of is Hosumi because a 1-1-1 for the combo that disallows Invokes to counterplay is like extremely terrifying. So this is an indirect buff to those strategies, dude. As a whole, those are some pretty decent changes. It does help Dragon quite a bit, but I really doubt that this is gonna be that good for Sword since they are just stalling into almost nothing. Maybe if someone just starts memeing with Radial or something, but I'm really not seeing it that much. But yeah, what do you think about the buffs, guys? Are they gonna be impactful? Are they gonna be Pepega? Anyways, if you like what you see, you can just subscribe to the channel. Don't if you don't like it. It's okay either way. And I'm 100% gonna play around. Bye bye.